Welcome to Small Voices. It's time for us to listen to the demands of our children. No voice is too small to make change, and together we can right the wrongs of inequality. Hello, we're Sarah and Rachel from Art with Heart, an arts company in Salford, Greater Manchester. In 2020, we launched Box Tickers, a podcast to mark the 10th anniversary of the Equality Act 2010. The Act brought together 116 pieces of legislation to protect the rights of individuals from unfair treatment, advance equality and promote a fair and more equal society. We brought together 13 artists from across Greater Manchester to create responses to the Equality Act, which looked into the future and what a new world could look like, a place where equality feels not only a possibility but reachable and achievable.
And this year, Manchester City Council launched Our Year, a whole city approach to building a safe, happy, healthy and successful future for all children and young people. It's a focus year of listening to young people to create more experiences, opportunities and support to ensure children and young people are at the heart of all we do in Manchester. As part of Our Year, we've been working with Year 6 pupils across 3 primary schools to create this special one-off episode of Box Tickers. We'll be exploring what equality means to young people in Manchester and what us adults can do to make things better for the next generation.
So, we asked them, what should things be like? And Generation Alpha have got a lot to say. And here is our chance to listen. This is what Year 6 pupils from Crowcroft Park Primary in Longsight had to say, created with mandla.
All voices are important. Let them all be heard.
We demand equality for all citizens. This includes people of all genders, religion, economic status, heights, skin colours, types of work, ages, both old and young. All voices are important. Let them all be heard. We recognise the diversity of gender and we want people to be empowered, not ashamed.
We want to be united.
We demand a future that is equal and fair, where all people do what they want without hurting others. We want a peaceful future with no wars. We want to be united. We want everybody to have the money that they need for poverty to end. We want to be caring, not rude or disrespectful. Kids deserve access to free school meals and access to sports so we can be healthy.
We have limitless potential.
We have limitless potential. There shouldn't be anything stopping us from reaching our goals. We don't want you to stop our future with climate change, global warming, deforestation, pollution. We want to plant more trees instead of cutting them down. They are the lungs of the earth. We demand a safe and protected climate and more school holidays to enjoy it. Let people shine. We all want to be kings and queens. It's not fair that only one family gets to be royals.
Abolish racism. Unite and fight.
We demand freedom of movement and safety for everyone seeking refuge, regardless of countries of origin and languages. We welcome refugees and we respect all distant cultures and traditions. Abolish racism, unite and fight. We want a free world where we can make our own choices. We will protest for our rights. When we grow up, we want to be engineers, architects, doctors, teachers, authors, footballers, artists, fashion designers, therapists and prime ministers. We want everyone to be happy with who they are and the world to be a beautiful place to live. We stand for love, respect, help and care.
We stand for love, respect, help and care.
My time at Crowcroft Park Primary School has been really, really lovely. I feel like I've got to know the kids really well and I've got them to share their thoughts and opinions on what kind of a future they want and what's happening in the world right now that they're not impressed with, and they're all really, really passionate kids, so it's been really lovely. They had lots to say about racism because they're a really multicultural class, and I think that's really, really wonderful, and they're really keen to speak up against racism and Islamophobia. They were really keen to talk about LGBT issues and learn more about allyship for those communities, and they asked lots of questions but not in a way where it's judgmental or rude, but they're just really curious and really keen to know how they can be caring and supportive, and yeah, they're just a really lovely group of kids.
In our work with the Year 6 pupils, we talked about human rights and how they're fundamental. They embody key values in our society, such as fairness, dignity, equality and respect. And they're an important protection for us all. They give us power and enable us to challenge poor treatment from others, so from our next door neighbour right through to a public authority. You know, if we don't know our rights that protect us, we can't use them. So we started with looking at the UN Rights of a Child and the Equality Act 2010, and had conversations around who is missing in the Equality Act. And those that we listed that are missing are mirrored by changes that are being pushed forward by activists. So, for example, hair policing to be explicitly added in connection to racism. So like when Afro hair is forced to be more Eurocentric. And for care experienced people to be added too, both of which are currently being discussed. Which is great because laws and bills should be active documents, pushing forward for positive change and becoming more inclusive as we learn about each other. Spending time in these 3 schools was incredible. We created work which started with talking about equality and inequality and what today's society looks like. So not in history, but the here and now. So all the examples children gave of inequality were racism, sexism, body shaming, war, homophobia, Islamophobia, misogyny, ableism, climate change, capitalism, wealth inequality, homelessness. I mean, the list went on and on and on. You know, we asked the open question, and what we heard from the children is that they're just as overwhelmed and afraid of the current society that we live in as many of us adults are. You know, there was a lot that we covered in a whole day.
Just a little bit for you to do there.
Just a bit. But, you know, there were a few key things that stood out. So one of which was looking at status. So we tried to replicate what it would feel like if we compressed the experience of being in the power hierarchy into a morning. Every student took a cube at random, and there were 4 colours. So purple was the best, red was okay, orange was below average, and green was at the bottom of the pile, so the worst. And in roll, without explanation, when anyone selected a purple, we gave them a round of applause and the children joined in. And
change your hair purple. Excellent school bag there.
We told them how wonderful they were, funny, smart, you know, intelligent, and the greens just got a shrug.
We played a game called the Cubes of Status. It was about where there was different colours. They were used like starburst, and what we had to do is our colour was our value. So purple was the highest value and green was the lowest value.
There were always, only ever, a maximum of 4 purples, but the greens were always the majority. So I asked them how they felt, but I only gave the purples the opportunity to speak and never allowed the greens to speak. And they were always the majority of the room and they were always the most unhappy. So they all commented on how unfair it was because, you know, they immediately got swept away in giving a round of applause and compliments to the purples just because that's the example I set. So, you know, I was the authority in the room, so they followed my lead. And once they realised that they weren't allowed to speak, they felt enraged and like it had all been a trick.
And we got one of the really low values. So Daisy and me thought, well, that's not fair because they're getting special treatment. They get to talk whenever they want. They get to do this and that. So Daisy and me thought, no, this isn't right. We're going to protest because it's not fair and something has to be changed.
So the purples made decisions about when and how much others could speak, and they ran with it.
Yes, they did.
So they totally disregarded the consequences for others and regularly, because they knew they could, held the floor and actively restricted speaking time for anyone else. So one pair of purples at one school even asked for a separate room because being a purple is so great, but seeing everyone else sad and angry, you know, it's just really killing the vibe and taking the shine off their great mood.
Really bringing them down.
I suppose what we can't see doesn't hurt us. Ignorance is bliss.
Some people wanted to change the way, so green would be like, you know, the top and purple would be the lowest, but we thought it wouldn't be fair because if not, we would be doing it over and over again because then Purple would start protesting, and then after we swapped, we would start protesting.
It would be infinite.
They wanted the world to have a power swap. But then after we talked about the implications of what that would do, we realised that actually doing that wouldn't solve the problem either, and that we'd just be in this endless power swapping time loop. We also talked about equity, so fairness and justice as a means to get to equality, and giving people what they need to access something and make change. So the mass majority in every session agreed that the one person who was already at an advantage, so had some form of privilege, would kick off after the others got what they needed. Because when we have the most power and then others gain some, it can feel like they now have an advantage, when in reality all that's happened is the playing field has just levelled. And we feel, well, one pupil put it better than I can actually. They said they feel less special because everyone is special now. At every school, at least one person said, every time I think I know the answer, it's not, and it's all a trick and there's no way out. Which I think, as an adult, that's how we feel a lot. Well, I know I do.
Yeah, me too.
You know, whenever there are steps forward, there's steps back. So it feels infuriating and exhausting. But I will say, spending time with these young people and really listening to them has given us all a renewed sense of hope.
It certainly has.
Now we have what Year 6 pupils from Haveley Community School in Wythenshawe had to say, created with David Viney.
Discrimination is a fast train downhill to misery.
The passengers are miserable and all look the same.
They speed past empathy, it's blurred and flashes by.
Stop the train, build a barricade of happiness, pull the emergency stop.
One love, a nation, together we should always stand brave as one forever, no matter the weather.
Hope is like a butterfly, delicate, dazzling, fragile, flying towards the rainbow.
What would I say to adults? Thanks for trying, at least you're not lying.
We have so many chances to change, but yet we don't take them. And you repeat mistakes again and again.
We could do something to make the world a better place. Even though my face is not your face. Even though we're a different race.
Children should be heard more. Don't ignore us by slamming the door.
Everyone's different in their own way, and they're all special. We all deserve the medal.
We are your future. Songwriters, actors, gymnasts, cafe owners, presidents, authors, chefs, teachers, poets, artists. We are all equal. Fairness is the key to happiness. Always be kind.
Be grateful and fearless.
Courage to make a change.
Discrimination needs to end.
Equal rights for all.
Fairness should spread around the world. Goodness and a glorious future for all. Happiness is the key.
Ignorance should not be tolerated.
Joy, justice, judgment.
Kindness should be a way of life.
Love is fantastic.
More care. No disrespect. Over time, love will spread.
People should be pleasant.
Quiet the negative comments.
Rights shall be respected.
Small differences make us who we are.
Together we are better. Violence should not be accepted.
We should support people.
Xenophobia is horrible.
You are wonderful.
Zero tolerance for racism.
My time at Haveley has been amazing. It's been, the kids are so cool. They were just quite hungry for information when you got into the proper conversations about what it really meant, and what it meant to them, and the fact some of them have like disabled brothers and sisters, and you know, some of them had seen racism firsthand, and they started to understand the connection. I think they were up for it, and we were playing specific games and things, that exercises that brought them into that zone anyway. So yeah, they were into it. I think by the time we finished with the group poem, they were throwing out all kinds of amazing lines and ideas towards it. I think they know what is going on to a degree, but they are more focused on themselves and what it means to them.
Plant the seed of respect. Make happiness take root. Lift up empathy. Let love branch out. Give care a chance to blossom.
Let it turn a new leaf. Let it live. Wash away discrimination. Let hatred sink without a trace.
Drown out the voices of unfairness. Flush ignorance down the drain. Empower everyone. Educate about equality and empathy.
Everyone should be heard and be free like a bird and not get hurt.
If you just give up, nothing will change. People are all the same. Rearrange the world.
Everyone needs to get involved. We can't just leave every issue unresolved.
People think kids don't understand. Make a stand, demand better.
When you're born, you don't get to choose what position you're in. Don't throw your future into the bin.
We are Class 6H. Stop discrimination. Our future will be affected if you don't do anything. Always respect people.
Be kind.
Contribute to our future. Don't do discrimination.
Elevate happiness. Form our future.
Get up and stand for each other.
Happiness will rule the world.
I can stand up for myself. Just be you.
Kindness will link us together. Love is all we need.
Making a difference.
No one should discriminate.
Only be kind. People should be treated in the best way.
Quick, we need to make a change. Respect everyone equally.
Support is needed.
Together we are better.
Unite all races. Violence is not an option.
With each other we have everything. X-ray doesn't show people's emotions.
You should respect everyone you meet.
Zoom into happiness.
We think it's important to talk about what's happening in the world today, and particularly here in Manchester. The coronavirus death rate in Greater Manchester has been 25% higher than the rest of England. Long-standing health inequalities, high levels of economic deprivation and wide social disparities have meant that the region has suffered acutely.
25% is so high.
Yeah.
Like, when you're living in it, you know it's bad, but actually 25% higher than everyone else is really bad.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it in the community. You feel the repercussions, but when you see it on paper in black and white like that, it's huge difference. And the thing is, 145,000 children, or 1 in 3, are living in relative poverty in Greater Manchester, which is higher than the UK average. And figures were as high as 48% of children in some of the areas of the city we worked in.
That's nearly half.
Yeah. It's one in 2 kids in some of the areas that we went to. It's huge. Every day, in lots of different ways, our children come face to face with inequalities. The children we spoke to are worried if their parents or carers have enough petrol to get to work. They know the cost of food in the supermarkets and they're worried the family won't be able to pay rent. They see their teachers switching off lights during lessons, and new children arrive in their classrooms throughout the year, many seeking refuge in Manchester after fleeing natural disasters, war or fear of persecution. Access to the internet and social media means that children and young people are more aware than ever before of global events. They discussed the uprising of young women in Iran, the climate crisis and the fight for racial justice. It can be difficult to start conversations about these things, but just because you're not talking about them, it doesn't mean they're not thinking about them.
You know, one of the schools, when we were talking about the colour cubes of status, one group said that children wouldn't even be greens at the bottom. They'd be yellows that are underneath the greens because nobody listens to them, even though they should. Now we have what Year 6 pupils from St Wilfrid C of E Primary in Newton Heath had to say, created with Louise Wallwein.
It is important to have conversations around equalities in school from a young age. I would have loved to have discussed the world in the way that we have over the past 3 days. They're a school that's open to talk about themes that really matter to us. The change that I've seen in the children over the course of the sessions is that I've seen them grow massively in confidence. Confidence about putting their opinions forward. Confidence about how they support and listen to each other. And how they're prepared to debate with me. There's been times when the session has turned into a debate, and that's been really wonderful that they've kind of taken ownership of the session. My time at St Wilfrid has been brilliant. It's been 3 intensive days of working with an exceptional class on some quite big and difficult themes, and they have been absolutely fantastic. They've embraced it and worked so hard. Their school should be very proud of them.
I am colourful.
I'm always dancing.
I am beautiful, as I fly high in the sky.
I am thriving with light.
I am kind. I am friendly.
I am a beautiful see-through plant saver.
I am calm.
I am fluffy and warm.
I am amazing because I can look out of view.
I am excellent because I hold you up.
I am sturdy. I am strong. I am going to light up your day like I am King Kong.
I am strong like anything.
I am good.
I am smart.
I shine like gold.
I am amazing.
I am full of questions.
If you were me, what would you wanna be? You could go to space, become an astronaut. From space to sea, no one can decide for you. Hey government, you gotta stop littering. Oh, no more walks around Brookdale Park. The wars are catastrophic and no one's happy, but there's still hope. You just gotta work this out. I hope this song works. You've just gotta let the children be in charge for once.
There needs to be more skate parks in the area. If there were more skate parks, everyone could have more fun and parks would be more popular.
I wish animals would have the same rights as humans. I wish racism would stop. I wish homophobia would stop. I wish sexism would stop.
School should last for 3 hours. When talking about equality, both genders say they are better, when really we should all be equal and no one is better.
I think children should have more freedom to play out because children never get enough air or get to play out.
People should have equal rights. The rich government shouldn't exist. The people decide and have a choice. Animals who can't fight back shouldn't be abused. People who are extremely rich need to donate to the poor.
Schools should have more art for our mental health. More parks for children near homes. Stop robbing. Think about what you do. Think about what you want.
More trees, less homeless people, more trampolines, more food. Stop polluting the ocean and the land. Eat less tuna, it's 95% gone. Help marine life in the areas. Less on taxes and stop gas and food crisis.
I think kids need respect. Adults are always in charge and think they should choose our future. I want to be an artist, singer. My mum says I can't, and I don't care. I am going to be it. No increase in how much something costs. No war.
Families are dying. You can't keep lying. Your true self has been shown. The people can't make it home. They're trapped in a dome, forced in a culture they cannot control. They're shot on sight if they don't wear it right. This is the end of the song. Maybe the world, maybe it all. Footballers should get less money and doctors and nurses should get more. Be nice to homeless people to stop deforestation.
We need to stop polluting the oceans, the rivers and canals. We could go from turtles choking on plastic to ducks and geese swimming happily.
I don't think electric bills should go up because some people can't afford it. We should have cleaner streets. We need more playtime. I'd like to change the world and make it a better place. I'd like people to stop throwing their rubbish and to put it in the bin.
I want homophobia and racism to stop. I hope that all genders will be equal. We should protest to stop all of this. Stop war, stop fighting, don't stop love.
We want more electric cars and sweets that are safe to eat.
I want to change the price of computer games. I want more money for food and for our parents. I would change the house bills and make them cheaper.
What I hope for is peace. I dream of equality. Children need to be heard. I would change how people act toward each other, like the way adults sometimes speak to children. I dream that most animals could be nocturnal, so that they would not be killed as easily. I would make ginger a more popular colour. I dream of happy, soft, comforting and gentle world. I dream that we have more lakes. I dream that everyone should play with each other nicely to stop racism and end homelessness. No one should have a clause in their contract. It should be straightforward.
If I was a world leader, I would be thankful for nice people. I would make rules that said no to war and inflation. I would make schools shorter.
I would change sexism, make the world equal and stop gender wars. There will be no girls or boys, are better because there would be no genders.
I hope for a swing, a tunnel slide, a climbing frame, a flower garden, trampoline, rope swing in wild areas, and burgers for lunch. I dream of less plastic in the ocean, more games for children and adults to play, more keyboards and less work.
I would like more appreciation between adults and children. Kids are expected to act older, but when they do, they are told, don't act like you are older. You are being weird. Go play with toys.
I dream of less animals getting tested on machines. Animals keep dying. We don't have many left.
I dream that children will get listened to so that we can speak and prove our point. I have a dream where together we stand, leaving our differences behind. Imagine a world where people don't get killed. Imagine a world where everyone else has a say. Imagine a world where homelessness does not exist. I have high hopes for the future, where all this could stop. We could live together like they do in fairy tales.
I would be very thankful to end cyberbullying because children and adults are being bullied by horrible people. No one should be picked on. Cyberbullying has to stop. I had a dream that people wake up from their beds and don't go on their phones and social media. They should be productive.
Make fair things, all can wear posh and fancy rings. Help people that are poor. If we do, they could have more. That is what we must, and not leave them in a little bit of dust.
I want to change all the streets. I want them to be clean for everybody. I hope that homeless people can get off the street, get money and a house. I want to change the world so everybody is happy. I want parents to look after us like they always do. I dream that people would have more fun.
I dream. People could be happy and safe. I dream. This world won't stay a disgrace. I dream. Each person would respect every race. I dream. It doesn't matter about their face. I dream. This can stop. I hope. We don't have to clean this world with a mop. This message needs to be heard all around the entire world.
My hopes and dreams are a very long list. Pollution, deforestation, people need to stop this. This is dangerous, don't you know? Let's bring these numbers down to 0. People need to be happy, animals too. We need everyone to help, including you.
We want to say a huge thank you for listening, and a thank you to everyone who took part in Small Voices.
We would love it if everyone spoke to the children in your life about the world we live in and what changes we can all make, but especially the change we, as adults, should be making.